The layout of your town or city greatly influences the graph you'll see in it. But where I live in Asheville is very unique, and as I've talked about before in these IRL Graff videos, you see high-level graph here right on the street. And forget cutty spots, we have bandos available right on the street as well. And for you guys wondering what's up in this bando, there's not really anything in there, just a couple of tags and a mural. And Asheville is kind of paradoxical like that, where a bando, an abandoned building, has pretty much nothing, but a freeway overpass located right on the street has a gallery. I also want to let you guys know that in the next couple of weeks, I got something special planned. But in this video, I'm going to take you guys along with me as I hit some corners here in Asheville and we check out some really dope spots on the street. I've been wanting to show you guys this spot for the last couple of months. And although there's some really dope graph in this spot, it is kind of a pain to record right here. I am right off the street and I'm right underneath the freeway. So there's a gang of noise in this spot, but there's also a gang of really dope graph, including these 3 throws that you see right across the river. And like I said in the intro, Asheville's a very unique place, and it's a very unique place when it comes to graph. And I don't know what the rhyme or reason is as to what gets buffed, if there is any rhyme or reason. It could just be if some graph goes up in some spots, it doesn't get buffed, but if it goes up in others, it does. And this is definitely a spot where it doesn't get buffed, but this isn't the only graph in this spot either. And shout out to Stutter and shout out to IRL. And especially shout out to IRL because IRL is not from out here. But this dude is up in some very high level, highly visible spots here in Asheville, including one of the gnarliest spots I think I've seen, period. I'm a fool that's not the biggest fan of heights, and just looking up at that tag gave me some vertigo and made me a little unsteady. But recently I saw IRL running somewhere else. And I was going through some old photos and videos from hitting the Caribbean earlier this year. And when I was out in Puerto Rico, I saw a collapsed bridge. And guess who was running on it? IRL. And if there ever was an indicator that somebody was really running, it is when you go back in time. When you look at some old stuff, you see them up there too. And that's definitely the case for IRL. When I saw this straight letter just passing by, I damn near had to just pull over right in the middle of the street and bust a U and come see it. This is nuts, especially considering, look at the surroundings here. There's a lot of people over here. This is an area that always has a ton of people, and it's probably the part of Asheville that reminds me the most of San Francisco. This road I'm on is called Tunnel Road, and it's a fairly busy thoroughfare that always has a lot of people, especially has a lot of street people. And while this motel complex is condemned, it's gonna be destroyed at some point, this is still a really hot spot to hit up in. And a giant straight letter is probably my favorite type of piece, period. There's just something about straight letters. There's especially something about giant straight letters. And there's so much space here in this complex that fools could have multiple straight letters up on each floor. I was able to see that subtle throw from across the street, and I was like, man, I really gotta find some kind of way into this spot. I know that this path that we're on is closed off from the other side. The city blocked it off after the hurricane, and I was gonna find a really stupid way to reach that spot. And I'm glad I used my brain, because I was gonna slide myself down that hill, and I might have slid my way all the way down the hill and not stopped where I wanted to stop, but I really wanted to check this spot out. As some of you guys might know, this CWC roller is one of my favorite things I've seen here in Asheville. But the last time I was here, this subtle piece was not here. 2 times ago that I was here, there was a subtle piece though, that I believe was done in like white, black, and red. But somebody came by and did a throw up over it that said, "Have hope." And I didn't know if that was some kind of diss of some sort. It seemed like one just because they went over a piece with the throw. But because the piece was pretty much damn near covered, maybe it wasn't. And I guess it's appropriate to end this video with the straight letter, kind of similar to how we started it. And shout out to Melts. This is an incredibly dope wall. It's very unfortunate that most of these pieces on this wall have been dissed. But even with the disses, even with the crossouts, even with the bullshit on these pieces, this is amazing. And I'm very blessed in doing these videos because I feel like anything I set out to find, I track down out here. And once again, shout out to Melts. I'd definitely be interested in the backstory of this spot. Probably more so interested in the backstory of this spot versus why all this stuff is crossed out. I pretty much know why this stuff is crossed out, but I just don't have the official version yet. But this is really amazing, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody run with this many pieces. Even this piece right here that I didn't even see. There's a ton of pieces on here and throws, and I've never seen one person do this much work in one spot. So shout out to Melt, shout out to all you guys watching, and as always, stay safe and stay up.